The desperate grab a boy's cry for help. When a terrified 9-year-old boy lunged forward and grabbed the leather-clad arm of a rugged biker at a sweltering Georgia gas station, screaming, "My sister's in that truck." No one could have predicted it would ignite the most heart-pounding civilian rescue the state had ever seen. The merciless August sun hung high over the Love's travel stop just outside Georgia, turning the asphalt into a shimmering wave of heat that made the air dance and distorted everything in the distance. Chrome on the motorcycles gleamed like fire, and the smell of diesel mixed with hot coffee from inside the store. Dominic Duke Hartley, road captain of the Iron Guardians Motorcycle Club, wiped sweat from his brow as he finished fueling his gleaming black Harley-Davidson Road King. At 48 Duke was a towering figure, broad-shouldered, with a gray-streaked beard, piercing blue eyes scarred from his days as an Army Ranger, and tattoos peeking from under his worn leather vest that told stories of battles fought both overseas and on the open road. His brothers were scattered around the pump's razor, the sharp-eyed vice president with a quick laugh and quicker fists. Smokey, the wise former state trooper whose calm voice could diffuse any situation. Bear, the massive Sergeant A. Toms, who stood 6'5", and weighed in at nearly 300 pounds of pure muscle and loyalty. And young Axel, the prospect eager to prove himself. They were 5 strong that day, heading from Atlanta to the coast for their annual Veterans Charity Ride, a tradition that raised thousands for wounded warriors and kids in need. The Iron Guardians weren't your typical biker club. For over a decade, they'd been the ones who showed up for flood victims, organized toy drives for children's hospitals, and earned quiet respect from law enforcement for being the good guys in a world that often judged leather and patches harshly. Duke was twisting the gas cap back on when he felt its small, desperate fingers digging into his forearm like claws, nails scraping skin through the heat-soaked leather. He spun around instinctively, his ranger training kicking in, ready for threat. But what he saw stopped him cold. A young black boy, about 9, with close-cropped hair, wide brown eyes rimmed red from crying, and a faded Star Wars t-shirt clinging to his sweat-drenched body. The kid's chest heaved with panicked breaths, his scuffed sneakers planted wide as if bracing for rejection. "My sister's in that truck!" the boy screamed, voice cracking like thunder in the quiet lot, his free hand pointing frantically toward the exit where a white 18-wheeler with an unmarked trailer was already merging onto I-75 northbound. "Please, mister, you gotta help. They took care. They took soy." The words hit Duke like a punch. Around them, travelers paused, a family unloading snacks, truckers sipping coffee, but most just glanced and looked away, assuming it was a kid throwing a tantrum or making up stories for attention. Duke's eyes flicked to the truck. Georgia plates. Nothing flashy, parked earlier at the far edge of the lot like it didn't want company. It pulled out with a hurried roar, not casual at all. Razor, hearing the commotion, was already jogging over, phone in and, "Duke? What's going on?" The boy, still gripping Duke's arm as if letting go meant losing everything, poured out the story in a rush of terror. "We were in the bathroom, me and Zoe. This man came in, big guy with a hat. He grabbed her, put a cloth over her mouth. Say went limp, like sleeping. I tried to fight him, yelled and hit, but he shoved me down hard. I felt hit my head. Then he carried her out and put her in the back of that truck. I saw inside there were other girls, tied up, looking scared, crying, quiet. I ran inside the store, told the lady at the counter, but she said I was lying, that kids imagine things, told me to wait for my mom or something, but I'm not lying. Please, believe me." Duke knelt down slowly, his large hands gently prying the boy's fingers loose, but then resting firmly on his thin shoulders. Up close, he could see the raw fear in those eyes. No guile, no exaggeration, just pure, shattering truth. The kid's body trembled, tears cutting tracks through the dirt on his cheeks. "What's your name?" "Son, Marquez. Marquez Webb. My sister is Zoe Webb. She's 7, wears a purple shirt with a unicorn on it, and braids with purple beads. She's scared of thunder, and she always holds my hand when we're waiting for the bus. Please, Nobody believes me. By now, the other bikers had formed a loose circle around them, their presence drawing more stares. Barra was already on his phone, voice low and steady. Georgia State Patrol. This is Bear with Iron Guardians. MC. Got a possible child abduction at Love's on I-75. White Kenworth cab. Unmarked trailer. Northbound. Plates. Razor zoomed in with his camera, capturing the fading image. Duke scanned Marcus again, the bruises starting on his arms from the fall. The desperation that no child should ever feel. In his military days, he'd learned to read people under pressure. Spot lies in the twitch of an eye. This was no lie. Marcus, where are your parents? Mom's working in Atlanta. We were supposed to bust to Auntie's in Tallahassee, but missed one, waiting for the next. My phone dead, and they won't let me use theirs inside. Duke handed over his own phone without hesitation. Call your mom. Tell her you're safe with us, Iron Guardians Mick. We're gonna get Zoe back. As Marcus dialed with shaking hands, Duke stood, mind racing. The truck had a 3-minute head start, maybe 5 miles already at highway speed. Patrol would come, but rural stretches meant delays. And in abductions like this, trafficking, his gut screamed every minute was a lifetime. Girls vanished into networks built for disappearing people. He looked at his brothers. They all knew the risks. Pursuing could cross into vigilantism, legal gray areas that could cost badges freedom. But they also knew why they wore those patches, to protect when others couldn't. Mount up, Duke said quietly, voice like gravel. We're going after that truck. Smokey stepped forward, ever the voice of caution. Duke, if we're wrong, he's not wrong. Duke cut in, nodding at Marcus, now sobbing into the phone as his mom apparently doubted him too. Look at that kid, that's Truth staring back. Duke took the phone gently. Mrs. Webb, this is Dominic Hartley, Iron Guardians. Your son just witnessed Zoe's abduction. We've alerted patrol, but we're pursuing to keep eyes on. Marcus is safe with us. Trust will bring her home. The woman's broken, please, echoed in his ear like a vow. Marcus refused to stay behind. I'm coming! I can spot the truck! Zoe needs to see me. No, I didn't abandon her. Duke saw his own childhood flash, helpless against his father's rage toward his little sister, who didn't survive it. He nodded. Razor, he rides with you. Axel, stay. Coordinate with patrol. Helmets on. Engines roared to life like angry thunder. 5 Harleys peeled out. Marcus strapped tight behind Razor, oversized helmet, wobbling butt eyes fierce. They hit I-75 doing 90, weaving traffic, hearts pounding with purpose. 8 minutes in, Marcus yelled through the cum. There, white truck, right lane. Duke spotted it blending innocently, but as they formed up, boxing it subtly. If you've ever felt that fire in your gut to protect the innocent, even when it risks everything, hit that subscribe button on Road Motorcycle Diaries right now. We're all about real stories of courage on the open road that restore your faith in humanity. Don't miss what happens next. The driver noticed them, expression shifting to panic. He swerved hard, trying to ram Duke off the road, and just as sirens wailed in the distance, the truck accelerated wildly. The chase exploded across Georgia highways. Would these unlikely heroes catch up before those girls vanished forever? Thunder on the highway. The chase that shook Georgia as the white 18-wheeler swerved violently across 3 lanes, trying to crush Duke against the guardrail. 5 Harley-Davidsons roared in perfect formation, refusing to let a single innocent girl disappear into the darkness of a trafficking nightmare. The wind screamed past at over 90 miles an hour as I-75 blurred into streaks of green and gray. Engines thundered like war drums, vibrating through chests and bones. Duke leaned hard into the curve. Front wheel inches from the trailers. Massive dual tires that could have ended him in a heartbeat. His heart pounded not from fear for himself, but from the image burned into his mind. Marcus's tear-streaked face and the absolute certainty that little Zoe and 5 other girls were trapped inside that rolling prison. Behind him, the Iron Guardians held tight formation. Bear rode shotgun on the right side of the trailer, his massive frame low over the tank, eyes locked on the cab. Smokey covered the rear, preventing any sudden slowdown or escape. Razor stayed center left with precious cargo. Marcus Webb, 9 years old, arms wrapped desperately around Razor's waist, the oversized spare helmet bouncing with every bump. But the boy never once looked away from the truck ahead. The driver, a bland-faced man in his 40s wearing a faded cap and cheap sunglasses, kept glancing in his mirrors. At first it was annoyance, then confusion, then calculation. And finally, when he realized these 5 bikers in full colors weren't backing off, raw panic. Duke pulled alongside the cab window, matching speed at 85 miles per hour. He stared straight into the driver's eyes. No words, just the unblinking promise of a former ranger who had seen evil before and refused to let it win again. The driver's knuckles went white on the steering wheel. His right hand fumbled for ACB radio mic, then a phone. He was calling someone, reporting trouble, asking what to do with the unexpected escort that refused to leave. Marcus's voice crackled through the Bluetooth comms built into their helmets. Small, fierce, unbroken. That's him. That's the man I saw carrying Zoe. I recognize his hat. Razor's reply was calm steel. We see him, little man. We're not letting him go anywhere. Bear's deep voice came next. Plates came back to a shell company out of Florida. Smokey's old trooper buddies say the rig's been flagged in a trafficking task force database for months. No active warrant yet, but they've been watching. GHP units are rolling, but still 15, maybe 20 minutes out. 20 minutes. In trafficking, 20 minutes was an eternity. Enough time to reach an exit, transfer the girls to vans waiting on back roads, scatter them across state lines, and vanish them into hell. Duke made the call. We don't stop him. We don't engage. We just stay on him. Make him feel us breathing down his neck until the cavalry arrives. He panics. He makes mistakes. But the driver was already panicking. Without warning, the truck lurched hard left, crossing the dotted line and forcing Duke to brake sharply and drop back. The trailer swung wide, tires smoking as it tried to sideswipe Bear. Bear leaned right, almost scraping sparks off the asphalt, but held his line. The smell of burning rubber filled the air. Then the truck accelerated hard, pushing past 95, weaving dangerously through civilian traffic. Cars swerved and honked. A minivan full of kids veered onto the shoulder. Duke's jaw clenched. This guy was willing to risk innocent lives to escape. The chase was fully on. The bikers matched every move. Engines screamed in fury. The formation tightened like a noose. Whenever the truck tried to change lanes, a Harley was already there, boxing him in without ever touching a rolling barricade of leather, thunder, and unbreakable will. Marcus's voice came again, trembling but determined. He's gonna take the next exit. I can tell. He keeps looking at the sign. Sure enough, half a mile ahead loomed exit 22, a rural 2-lane highway cutting through cotton fields and pine forests. Perfect place to disappear. Duke keyed the mic. We follow. Whatever he does, we stay with him. Patrol knows our direction. The truck braked hard at the last second, tires howling, trailer fishtailing wildly as it barreled down the exit ramp at 70 miles per hour. Duke and the others leaned deep into the curve, knees skimming pavement, bikes protesting but holding true. Sparks flew from Razor's floorboard as he fought to keep Marcus safe while staying on the truck's tail. They exploded onto the country road, dust and heat rising in waves. Farmland stretched flat and endless on both sides. No witnesses out here, no cameras, just 5 motorcycles chasing an 18-wheeler carrying pure evil. The driver floored it again, but on the narrower road he couldn't weave as the bikers closed the gap. Duke could now see sweat pouring down the man's face through the open cab window. He was shouting into his phone, voice frantic. Then, suddenly, brake lights flared red. The truck slowed fast, too fast for its size and weight. The driver was going to try to stop, maybe jump out and run into the woods. Maybe hope the bikers would overshoot. Not a chance, Duke signaled. The 5 Harleys braked hard in perfect sync, fanning out across the road like a living wall. They skidded to a halt, 30 yards ahead of the truck. Engines still growling. Boots hit pavement. Bikes became cover. The truck screeched to a stop in a cloud of smoke and dust, trailer swaying dangerously. For a heartbeat, everything was silent, except for heavy breathing and cooling engines. The cab door creaked open slowly. The driver stepped down, hands half raised, eyes darting like a cornered animal. He was average height, paunchy, unremarkable, the kind of face you'd forget in a lineup. But his pupils were blown wide with fear. Duke's voice cut through the hot air like a blade. Face down on the ground, hands behind your head. Now, the man hesitated, took one step toward the tree line. Bear took 3 massive strides forward, boots shaking the earth. That was all it took. The driver dropped to his knees, then flat, muttering please. Behind them, in the distance, came the most beautiful sound any of them had ever heard. Multiple Georgia Highway Patrol sirens, growing louder by the second. Marcus was already off Razor's bike, running toward the trailer, screaming, "Zoe! Zoe! I'm here! It's Marcus!" Bear pulled heavy bolt cutters from his saddlebag. The kind every smart biker carries for emergencies, and advanced on the locked trailer doors. Duke's heart hammered as Bear snapped the padlock. The door swung open with a metallic groan. Inside, in the dim, stifling heat, sat 6 little girls, zip-tied, gagged with duct tape, eyes wide with terror and exhaustion. And in the front corner, curled small against the wall, was a 7-year-old in a purple unicorn shirt, braids with purple beads, tears streaming down her dirt-streaked face. The moment she saw Marcus, she let out a muffled scream of pure relief. Marcus climbed in without hesitation, dropping to his knees in front of her. "I got you, Zozo. I promised I'd find you. Big brother's here." The other girls began to cry, not from fear anymore, but from Ope. State troopers roared up seconds later, lights flashing red and blue across the fields. Weapons drawn at first, assessing the scene. 5 bikers in defensive positions, a suspect prone on the ground, a small boy comforting his sister inside a trailer full of rescued children. The lead sergeant, a seasoned woman with steel-gray hair and sharp eyes, took it all in. She lowered her sidearm slowly. Then she looked at Duke and nodded once. EMTs were on scene within minutes. Blankets, water, gentle hands removing restraints, soft voices telling terrified little girls that they were safe now, that the bad man couldn't hurt them anymore. Zoe clung to Marcus like he was her entire world. Marcus clung back just as hard, whispering over and over, "I'm sorry I let him take you, but I found you. I never stopped." Duke stood off to the side, watching the reunions begin as parents were called, watching FBI agents arrive to take over the scene. Something deep inside his chest cracked open. Grief for the sister he couldn't save decades ago, mixing with overwhelming gratitude that today, these 6 girls would go home. The sergeant approached him, voice low. "That was the most reckless, illegal, flat-out insane thing I've ever seen on my highway." Duke braced for the cuffs. She continued, "And the bravest. Those girls were scheduled for transfer in less than an hour. We'd have lost the whole network. You just blew it wide open." She held out her hand. Duke shook it, throat too tight for words. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky in gold and crimson, the Iron Guardians stood together in silence, watching the girls being cared for. They weren't heroes in capes. They were brothers in leather who chose to believe a terrified child when no one else would. And because of that choice, 6 families would sleep with their daughters safe tonight. If this story of raw courage and brotherhood on the open road moved you even a little, smash that like button, hit subscribe to Road Motorcycle Diaries, and turn on notifications. We bring you real stories like this every week. Stories that prove good still rides loud and strong. A vist, a promise, and a legacy that still rides 3 months after that scorching August afternoon at a quiet Georgia gas station. A 9-year-old boy stood on a stage in Atlanta and proved once again that the smallest voice, when finally heard, can change everything. The community center auditorium was packed. Georgia State Patrol officers in dress uniforms sat shoulder to shoulder with FBI agents. Local politicians, reporters, and families whose lives had been forever altered by one desperate grab at a stranger's arm. Soft afternoon light filtered through high windows, catching dust motes in the air and warming the wooden stage where Marcus Webb, now dressed in a slightly oversized navy suit and polished shoes that still looked brand new, gripped the podium with both hands. At the front row sat Zoe, 7 years old again, in every way that mattered, wearing a fresh purple unicorn shirt and braids tied with brand new purple beads that bounced when she smiled. Their mother, tears already shining in her eyes, held Zoe's hand tight. In the back row, 5 men in worn leather vests sat quietly. Duke, Razor, Smokey, Bear, and Axel, arms crossed, eyes proud, but unwilling to take any spotlight. Marcus cleared his throat, voice steady beyond his years. Everybody kept telling me I was making it up. The lady at the gas station, the man behind the counter, even some grown-ups on the phone. They looked at me like I was just a kid causing trouble. But I knew what I saw. My little sister was taken, and I knew if I stayed quiet, she might be gone forever. He paused, scanning the crowd until his eyes found Duke in the shadows. Then, one man stopped. One man looked at me, really looked and believed me. And because he did, 5 other families got their little girls back too. A soft wave of emotion rippled through the room. Cameras clicked. Someone in the middle row sniffled loudly. Marcus continued, "They gave me this award today, but it doesn't belong to just me. It belongs to my sister Zoe, who held on and stayed strong. It belongs to the other 5 girls who are home now," laughing again. "And it belongs to the Iron Guardians, 5 men on motorcycles, who didn't care what anybody thought they looked like. They only cared about doing what was right." He turned fully toward the back row. "Mr. Duke, thank you for listening when no one else would." The audience erupted in applause that thundered through the hall. Duke lowered his head for a moment, swallowing hard, then gave Marcus a small nod and a proud smile that carried every ounce of a father's love he never got to give his own lost sister. After the ceremony, while photos were taken and handshakes offered, Marcus broke away and ran straight to the bikers. Over his suit jacket, he still wore Duke's original Iron Guardian's vest, now altered by a skilled tailor to fit his small frame. Patches gleaming, the leather softened from being held every single night. Duke knelt down to eye level, the same way he had that day at the gas station. "You kept it safe, huh?" "Every day," Marcus said, patting the vest proudly. "I hang it right by my bed, so it's the first thing I see when I wake up. It reminds me that somebody believed me, that good people are real." Duke placed a large hand on the boy's shoulder. "And you remember what I told you? Always trust what you see with your own eyes, even when the whole world says you're wrong. If you know it's truth, you stand on it." Marcus nodded fiercely, then threw his arms around Duke's neck in a hug that squeezed tight with all the gratitude a child's heart could hold. Duke hugged back, eyes closed, feeling the circle close. The protection he couldn't give his little sister all those years ago, finally given to another child who needed it most. Zoe toddled over then, shy at first, but when Duke opened one arm, she ran into the hug too. For a long moment, the 3 of them stayed like that. A former ranger carrying old wounds, a brave big brother, and a little girl who now knew heroes sometimes ride Harleys and wear leather instead of capes. The story of Marcus Webb and the Iron Guardians became legend across Georgia and beyond. It was taught in law enforcement training. Listen to children. Take them seriously. Gas station clerks and 911 operators shared it as a reminder never to dismiss a desperate voice. Motorcycle clubs from Florida to Virginia reached out, wanting to partner on anti-trafficking rides. The Iron Guardians' annual Veterans Charity Run grew bigger than ever, with new patches sewn on vests honoring the day they rode for the kids. The FBI confirmed that the arrest led to dozens more rescues across 3 states. As the network unraveled, 6 little girls went home to heal, to laugh again, to sleep without fear. Their families sent Christmas cards every year to a P.O. box in Atlanta. Simple notes that said thank you for giving us our daughter back, and Duke kept writing. Every year on the anniversary of that August day, the Iron Guardians made a quiet stop at the same Love's travel stop. They'd fuel up, drink bad coffee, and stand in the exact spot where a terrified boy once grabbed a stranger's arm. They added a new line to their club creed, painted on the wall of their clubhouse, and whispered before every ride, "We listen when others ignore. We act when others hesitate. We protect the vulnerable, because that's what honor demands." Tucked inside the front pocket of Duke's vest, right next to his own road-worn patches, is a small school photo. A smiling 7-year-old girl in a purple unicorn shirt, braids shining with purple beads, eyes bright with trust and joy, a permanent reminder that the most important ride of his life didn't end on some coastal highway or mountain pass. It began the moment a 9-year-old boy ran up in desperation, grabbed his arm, and cried out 4 words that changed everything. "My sister's in that truck." And one man, backed by 4 brothers who believed in the same code, chose to listen, chose to believe, and chose to act. That choice restored 6 little girls to their families. It restored faith in strangers. It proved that courage often wears leather, roars like thunder, and starts with simply refusing to look away. If this story touched your heart the way it touched ours, if it reminded you that everyday people can still be extraordinary when they choose kindness, courage, and believe in a child's truth, then do 3 things right now. Hit that like button so this message reaches more people. Drop a comment below. What would you have done that day in the gas station? Would you have stopped? Would you have believed? Marcus. And most important, subscribe to Road Motorcycle Diaries and turn on notifications. We're here every week sharing real stories of heroism, brotherhood, and the open road that prove good still wins, one ride at a time. Thank you for being part of this journey. Ride safe, live brave, and always, always listen to the small voices. Because sometimes they're the ones saving the world.